The explosion, as we know, caused a gushing spill that has poured hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil into the Gulf and threatens to spill millions more. It has created an environmental and economic tragedy, the magnitude of which we have only just begun to comprehend.
You see the economic consequences already to the fishing industry in Louisiana. Well, what about the oyster industry in Apalachicola and those delicate bays and estuaries all along the Gulf Coast where so much of marine life is spawned?
Who should pay for this disaster? Should it be the taxpayers of this country? Should it be the small business owners whose livelihood is now at jeopardy? Should it be the property owners who are going to suffer damage? No, it should be BP Oil and its affiliates.
We have to hold them accountable because American taxpayers are staring down the barrel of a disaster that is said to exceed currently $1 billion in monetary damages.
You know, the current law sets a $75 million cap on how much an oil company has to pay for damages. That means BP doesn't have to pay more than $75 million for lost business revenues from fishing or tourism damage to the environment, the coastline, or the lost tax revenues of state and local governments. So, Mr. President, I have introduced with a series of my colleagues raising that liability cap for offshore oil well spills from $75 million to $10 billion.
The Big Oil Bailout Prevention Act will help ensure that the current liability gap for a single oil spill will not apply to the Gulf Coast oil disaster, and it will make sure that BP, a company that just a few weeks ago flaunted its record profits of $6 billion in the first quarter of this year alone, that they pay for this.
The bottom line is this. If oil companies are going to make billions in profits when times are good, they should not be allowed to leave taxpayers hanging when times are tough. The Big Oil Bailout Prevention Act writes this common sense policy into law, and I urge every senator to side with the taxpayers and support this important legislation.
You know, when I was a kid, my mother taught me all I think we need to know here. I'm sure everybody was taught the same way. You clean up your own mess, and you're responsible for it. And that's all we're asking BP or any other company to do. Clean up the mess, pay for whatever mess you can clean up yourself, and the damages that flow from what you did.